You are watching Luntha television and it's time for news. Today you are with me, Hilbert Katanda, out of stories. Oldest member of the College of Cardinals, Joseph Tomko, dies at 95. Malawi Parliament passes loan authorization bill. Former Malawi Electoral Commission Commissioner Linda Kunje's driver faces arrest. And in international news, Kenyans flee to Uganda ahead of Tuesday's general elections. Well, we have these and more other stories to stay tuned in. Cardinal Joseph Tomko died early on Monday morning in Rome at the age of 98. At the time of his death, the Slovakian-born cardinal was the world's oldest living member of the College of Cardinals. Tomko died at 5 a.m. August 8 in the apartment where he was under the care of a dedicated nurse after hospitalization on June 25. For the cervical spine injury, according to the Vatican News. We have the details.
Slovak Cardinal Josef Tomko, Prefect Emeritus of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples, passed away Monday morning. At 98 years old, he was the oldest member of the College of Cardinals. Tomko was created a cardinal by Pope John Paul II in 1985. He was among the few people who were able to enter the late Pope's room on the day of his death, April 2, 2005.
I saw his hands, the very same hands that had consecrated me as a bishop. I still felt those hands on my head. I kissed them. It was an extremely moving experience that will stay with me forever.
Cardinal Tomko had been in poor health since June when he was admitted to the Gemelli Hospital in Rome with a cervical injury. During his stay at the hospital, he was visited by the Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin. Cardinal Tomko was discharged from the hospital on August 6 and was receiving at-home care in his Rome apartment from the Sisters of Charity of St. Vincent de Paul. He was famous for having visited many countries and understanding the reality of the Church in various contexts. Following his death, the Slovak Bishops' Conference issued a statement asking for prayers for his soul. With the death of Cardinal Tomko, the College of Cardinals is now composed of 206 cardinals, including 116 electors.
Three Montfort brothers made their first vows on Saturday, the 16th of August 2022 at the Montfort House in Mbarara Diocese, Uganda. Of the three, Brother Felix Nimanya hails from Uganda, while Brother Ronald Mora and Brother Luca Margareta hail from Malawi. In his remarks, the superior of the African Anglophone delegation, Father Lonely Paul Mashonga, assured the three brothers of his support, but was quick to tell them that happiness is an individual decision and encouraged them to live an exemplary life. The three met their yes to the Lord as members of the Company of Mary for 1 year and 9 days and will now be going to Hekima College, Nairobi, Kenya, to do a bachelor's in theology on their journey to priesthood. Bridget Monoga reports.
Brother Felix Nimanya, Brother Ronald Mora and Brother Luca Margareta joined the Montfort missionaries 4 years back. They studied a bachelor's in philosophy and religious studies at Intercongregational Institute ICR in Balaka from 2018 to 2021 before they went to Uganda for the novitiate. Making his remarks, the superior of the Africa Anglophone delegation, Father Lonely Paul Mashonga SMM, thanked the young brothers for freely responding and saying yes to God's call to follow Christ as religious brothers in the presentation brothers' way of life, a life of serving and not to be saved. He then asked the brothers to live simply and to serve God and all God's people through a life of charity, calling on the senior brothers to accompany the newly professed in the communities, pray for and support them to carry out their ministries effectively.
And we assure you of journeying together, accompanying you in ways that you may need. But you are the architect of your life. You are the man for matter. The rest of us, we just support. A lot is in your hand. This is what you had aspired, to be a religious. Now you are. Be a religious.
Father Mashonga also encouraged them to have a better perception of Jesus, just like Peter, James and John at the Transfiguration, encouraging them to hold the evangelical counsels of poverty, charity, and obedience as tools for their greater commitment and service. Brother Felix Nimanya comes from Kikumbu Parish, Luwilizi District, Mbalala Archdiocese. Brother Felix Nimanya comes from Kikumbu Parish, Luwilizi District, Mbalala Archdiocese, Uganda, while brothers Leonard Mara and Luntha Margareta come from Blantyre Archdiocese. For Luntha Television News, this is Bridget Manoka.
Legal professionals in Africa have been challenged to always strive for easy access to justice for people at all levels, including the poor. Chief Senator Dr. Joel Howard Taylor made the call during an official opening of the 2022 African Bar Association Annual General Conference in Lilongwe. Taylor, who is the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, encouraged legal practitioners to conduct research if justice is to be thoroughly served in Africa. The four-day conference is expected to end on the 11th of August 2022, and it provides an opportunity for lawyers, judges, politicians, the business community to gather, dissect, and proffer solutions to the myriad of challenges confronting Africa, especially good transparent governance, security, and the rule of law. Tadio Mzumala reports.
Being held under the theme Instituting an Enduring Legacy of Transparent and Accountable Governance in Africa, Basic Issues and Roadmap, the conference, being hosted by the Malawi Law Society, is among other things aimed at creating a platform where African law practitioners will be able to demonstrate how they articulate matters of law in their various countries. In his opening remarks, President of the Malawi Law Society, Patrick Mpaka, emphasized on the need for unity of purpose to succeed as a continent, challenging African states to place the right people in the right places if the goal is to steer development agendas.
Here this week to reflect on how we shall help to institute a lasting legacy of transparent and accountable governance in Africa, so that the trustees of state power in Africa shall remain accountable to the will of the ordinary people according to the laws of the nations of Africa.
Keynote speaker at the conference, Chief Senator Dr. Joel Howard Taylor, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, dared legal professionals in Africa to always strive for easy access to justice for people of all levels of life, including the poor. She went further to implore legal practitioners to do some serious soul-searching if they are to make an impact in the social transformation of their respective citizens, touching on the need for more pro bono representations to ensure access to justice, especially for the poor.
I believe the African Bar Association, by this gathering, genuinely seeks to forge a new path forward. Please note that the scenario referred earlier speaks about the current status quo, as seen by the majority. And if one must retrospect on a new pathway, we must be cognizant of our past, of our present, and of our future.
Presiding over the official launch, State President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera advised the justice sector in the country and Africa as a whole to create frameworks that will enable masses understand better matters of law in an effort to enhance socio-economic development in various African countries.
Even in the Africa Agenda 2063 of the Africa we want, one theme that stands out as key to Africa's political and economic transformation is, quote, an Africa of good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, and justice and the rule of law, end of quote. As former United Nations Secretary General.
The African Bar Association, AFBA, was designed to be a federation of national legal associations, corporate and unincorporated legal entities, and individual lawyers. The association seeks, among other objectives, to foster the exchange of opinions and experiences among members and formulation of policies that would better reposition the continent's socio-economic and political development and advancement. Meanwhile, Malawi has received rights to the AFBA flag through the president of the Malawi Law Society, Patrick Mpaka. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Tandiwe Nzumara.
Malawi Parliament has on 8th August 2022 passed the Loan Authorization Bill, allowing government to borrow 20.5 billion kwacha from OPIC for rehabilitation of Benga and Kodagota Dwangwa M5 Road. Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs Sosten Gwengwe has said the initiative will facilitate development in the country, stressing that the M5 road is the regional corridor. The Finance Minister has since said procurement talks are underway between Roads Authority and relevant stakeholders. Gwengwe explains more.
Need to pay attention to road infrastructure if you really need to develop, because good road infrastructure facilitates movement of people, movement of goods, and you cannot talk of trade, whether nationally or regionally, without proper corridors. The M5 road, we take it as a regional corridor because it connects Tanzania, Malawi, and Mozambique, and we've got partners who are very much interested in us being able to move goods and people within the region via this route of Tanzania, Malawi, and Mozambique through the M5. But beyond that, you also know that this road has been in this shape for a very long time, and the people of Salima, people of Mkotakota, people of Mkatabe have been very, very patient to have this road come into a stage where we are now, and we really want to commend the people in these districts for really keeping their patience, and once the project rolls out, we would make sure that it really goes as fast as it should, and the resources are used as efficiently as possible.
Mbara zokudzira dziko la Malawi, a human rights body, has expressed concern over the continued stay in office of Director General of the Anti-Corruption Bureau, Martha Chizuma, despite closing her offices. The group sealed ACB offices in July this year in a symbolic closure which took place at the District Commissioner's office in Lilongwe. The group's leader, Redson Monlo, said Chizuma has no right to cling to her office as their closure meant that the ACB boss was fired. Falis Chizombe reports.
Leader of a group dubbed Mbadwa Zokozika za dziko la Malawi, Redson Monroe, said Anti-Corruption Bureau Director Martha Chizuma has no right to stay in office and operating as the director anymore, as the symbolic closure of her office meant that she was supposed to stop working immediately. He said that government's silence on Chizuma's case portrays that it is right for authorities to vacate off of office, and he has since warned that the group will take unspecified action in due course.
If Madam Chizuma had integrity, the moment the president told the nation that this woman has violated her oath of office, and my legal minds have advised me that I should fire her, but because of other reasons, I'm not firing her. That alone, it's a vote of no confidence. If Martha Chizuma had integrity, she was resigning the very same day. And all what we have been doing as Mbadwa Zokudzika, up to the extent of closing her office, that alone, it's a vote of no confidence. If the Martha Chizuma had integrity, automatically she was resigning. This justifies our claim that she doesn't have integrity, and our public officers don't have integrity in this country.
Wants Chizuma to step down from her office, arguing that she violated oath of office by revealing confidential information to a known person in a controversial rigged audio clip. The group symbolically sealed the Anti-Corruption Bureau offices at the District Commissioner's offices in Lilongwe on July 26, 2022. Reporting for Luntha News in Lilongwe, This is Falis Chizombe.
Well, you're still watching news on Luntha television, coming to you live from Bishop Neve Media Center in Area 2, Lilongwe. Now, let's have another look at our top stories before we proceed. Oldest member of the College of Cardinals, Joseph Tomko, dies at 95. Malawi Parliament passes loan authorization bill. Former Malawi Electoral Commission Commissioner Linda Kunje's driver faces arrest. And in international news, Kenyans flee to Uganda ahead of Tuesday's general elections. Moving on, Chief Resident Magistrate Court in Zomba has issued a warrant of arrest for John Stewesa, former driver to Malawi Electoral Commission Commissioner Linda Kunje, after he absconded a court proceeding. Chief Resident Magistrate Austin Banda was set to deliver his judgment in the case where the two are accused of blocking President Lazarus Chakwera's convoy on December 10 in 2020. Banda observed that delivering judgment in the absence of Stewesa, who together with his lawyer Timothy Chira did not show up in court, would be a breach of criminal procedure and evidence code. He has since adjourned the case to a later date to allow the state to make the arrest. Action Against Political Impunity says there will be another set of demonstrations dubbed Chakwera Alandire Chikalata from August 18, 2022. According to Sylvester Namiwa, leader of the grouping, who is also Center for Democracy and Economic Development Initiative, CIDED's executive director, the grouping plans to deliver the petition directly to the President Lazarus Chakwera. Namiwa has told the media in Lilongwe that the grouping will deliver the petition at Kamuzu Palace in Lilongwe, at Sajika Palace in Blantyre, Zomba State Lodge in Zomba, Chikoko Bay in Mangochi, and Mzuzu State Lodge. King Major Gamwendo reports.
The Action Against Political Impunity, API, has said it has noted with dismay the undesirable levels of executive arrogance and impunity in the manner in which President Lazarus Chakwera and his Tonsalas government are handling the citizens' grievances contained in the numerous petitions that have so far been delivered to his office through the chief executive officers, CEOs for the city councils and the district commissioners, DC's offices for the district councils across the country. Leader of the grouping, Sylvester Namiwa, who was speaking during a press briefing in Lilongwe, has said the grouping has planned to hold another set of nationwide demonstrations on 18th of August, dubbed Chakwera Alandire Chikalata. According to Namiwa, the demonstrations are aimed at forcing President Chakwera to fulfill his campaign promises, scrubbing off presidential powers and the increasing prices of basic commodities such as bread and sugar.
We refuse to accept the fact that someone who promised the servant leadership style less than 24 months ago today can sit on the grievances from the very same people that gave him the power to govern over them according to Section 12 of the Republican Constitution. We believe that since the first petition that was delivered in December 2020 to Dr. Lazarus Chakwera through the Lilongwe City Council and the subsequent petitions through the chief executive officers of the councils and district commissioners do not reach State House, because since then there was no word from the State House, even from the OPC. It is against this background that we are announcing yet another set of peaceful demonstrations on August 18, 2020, targeting our houses, state residences.
The petition will be delivered at Kamuzu Palace in Lilongwe, Sanjika Palace in Blantyre, Zomba State Lodge in Zomba, Mzuzu State Lodge in Mzuzu, and Chikoko Bay in Mangochi. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is King Major Kamwendo.
The Cannabis Regulatory Authority has retaliated its interest to review the industrial hemp licensing fees amid growing complaints of high charges. Cannabis Regulatory Authority Board Chairperson Boniface Kadzamira said the review will not tackle medical hemp, looking at its negative effects if the charges are reduced. Reacting to the developments, economic expert Bechani Chereni said the improved cannabis industry may attract more foreign exchange, more jobs and industrialization. Brett Manza has the details.
Having legalized cannabis farming for medicinal and industrial use in February 2020, more Malawian individual farmers, cooperatives and companies have been showing interest to start cultivating the crop as business. This has been the case as most farmers have bid farewell to another cash crop, tobacco, after losing its value on the market due to declining global demands driven by anti-smoking campaigns. However, some growers have complained big time on the process of obtaining cannabis licenses, which are more expensive. Currently, industrial hemp licensing fee stands at 1.7 million kwacha, including an unrefundable processing fee of 500,000 kwacha, whereas the medicinal hemp licensing fee is 9 million kwacha, with an unrefundable processing fee of 1 million kwacha. Cannabis Regulatory Authority Chairperson Honorable Boniface Kadzamira said they will review the fees as part of their agenda during their next board meeting. However, Kadzamira pointed out that they will only review the industrial hemp licensing fees and not medicinal licensing fees, stressing that if the hemp is abused, it may have negative effects, hence a need not to reduce the fees, and that industrial hemp may be treated as an agricultural plant. Economic expert Bechan Chereni hinted that intensified production of alternative export crops like cannabis remains ideal as the economy faces forex woes. Malawi has long relied on tobacco, which accounts for about 13% of its gross domestic product and 60% of its foreign exchange earnings. Malawi is now one of the 5 southern African countries, along with Zimbabwe, Zambia, Lesotho and South Africa, that has licensed cannabis for production. For Luntha News, I am Bernard Manza.
And now in international news, hundreds of Kenyan nationals and foreigners who have been in Kenya have fled into Uganda ahead of a highly contested August 9 presidential poll. Whereas 4 candidates are contesting for Kenya's top seat, the race is intense between United Democratic Alliance candidates William Ruto and Raila Odinga of the Azimio la Umoja. Arriving foreigners from Kenya include Asians, American and British nationals who told the Voice of America that they fear a repeat of 2007 post-election violence that rocked Kenya. However, citizens have expressed mixed reactions towards the anticipated chaos and elections at large. Spot checks by the Voice of America established that citizens are ready for the election and firmly believe it will be a violence-free poll. Here are some of the people's reactions.
Yeah, during this period of election, Kisumu is calm and the people of Kisumu are calm simply because we have hope that the elections of this year are going to be conducted in a very proper manner, and that is what I mean is that it is going to be free, fair and verifiable. We need a free election because Kisumu, or let me talk of Nyanza, we have been lagging behind because of wrong politics.
It's a few days to elections and by the look of things, you can see people are calm. Yeah, people are ready to vote. So I feel a bit calm. I don't feel that tensed, yeah.
We always understand our rights. We always stand with our democratic right to vote whoever we want. But right away, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, it is automatically, I'm going to vote for him and he's going to win, whereby we are going to celebrate. So we don't need police to come and start their normal brutality because right now we are very peaceful.
And now in sports news, the Luntha Giants, Nyasa Big Bullets and Mighty Wanderers have reached the quarterfinals of the FDH Bank Cup following their victories on Sunday. The People's team defeated Moyari Barracks 4-3 in post-match penalties after a 4-4 draw in regulation time. Meanwhile, Mighty Wanderers defeated Dedza Dynamos 3-0 at Dedza Stadium. King Major Gamwendo reports.
Nyasa Big Bullets and Mighty Mukuru Wanderers have completed the quarter-final slots in the FDH Bank Cup after victories over Moyare Barracks and Dedza Dynamos Salima Sugar respectively on Sunday. Bullets needed the penalties to progress in the competition after a dramatic 4-4 draw in regulation time at the Kamuzu Stadium, while the Nomads trounced the match thanks to the Dynamos 3-0 at the Dedza Stadium. At Dedza, the Nomads defied all odds when American Chester, Alfred Manyozo Jr. and Vincent Nyanguru scored to eliminate young skillers Dedza. But their rivals, Bullets, were not their usual self after they twice gave away the lead to Consider and Familia 4 goals in an 8-goal thriller on a relatively Sunday afternoon in Luntha. Both teams went for races with the People's team leading 3-2 through goals from Langes Nkoma, Patrick Manguru and Precious Sambani, while the Soldiers replied through Gustin Simkonda and Roy Njaliwa. More goals, more blunders and less action were the main highlights of the match as Bullets, who welcomed back goalkeeper Rapson Chenda and defender John Langes, had glaring goalkeeping and defensive errors, which nearly cost them the match. Moyales Njaliwa, Resmin Singini and Bullets' Babatunda Depojo scored in the second half of the match to take it into the dreadful penalties. Hassan Kajoke, Ranges Nkoma, Chimwemwe Idana and Adepojo converted Bullets' spot kicks, whereas Yamikan Foja missed his. Simkonda and Black Arisen scored while Rafael Pida and Brown Maganga missed for the Soldiers to kiss goodbye to the competition. Moyale coach Richard Mamza held his charges for inspiring performance despite the loss, and in his part, Bullets assistant coach Peter Mponda said they needed to work on some of the shortfalls noticed in the match. For Luntha News in Longwen, this is King Major Kamwendo.
That also wraps up our news bulletin, but before we go, a reminder of our top stories. Oldest member of the College of Cardinals, Joseph Tomko, dies at 95. Malawi Parliament passes loan authorization bill. Former Malawi Electoral Commission Commissioner Linda Kunje's driver faces arrest. And in international news, Kenyans flee to Uganda ahead of Tuesday's general elections. My name is Helbert Katanda. Thanks for watching, and it's goodbye for now.